Hello Year 4, and this is our learning journey lesson for Wednesday the 27th of January. Now yesterday in the live Zoom we looked at more parts of the digestive system, okay, and today what we're going to do is go into more detail about what those parts actually do, okay. So I'm going to take you through the slides again as usual. So our aim really today is I can explain the functions of the digestive system. Okay, we will tomorrow in the live Zoom lesson, we'll be looking, because this is like two parts, so today we're going to look at the actual functions in more detail, and then tomorrow we're going to use scientific evidence to answer questions. Okay, so what you're going to do today, the success criteria we're looking at is I can add functions to the parts of the digestive system. I can match the parts of the digestive system with their functions, so functions, what they do. And I can explain the functions of the digestive system. And then tomorrow we're going to be looking at the scientific evidence. We're going to use that to answer questions, and we're going to also talk about distinguishing between scientific and non-scientific evidence when answering questions. Okay, so that is for tomorrow that we'll do together. But for today we're looking at the functions, so what the different parts of the digestive system actually do. Okay, so yesterday then we looked at all these body parts and where they were. So if you just have a quick look, see if you can identify the different parts. Okay, so we've got the mouth, obviously, we all should be able to get that one. And then from the mouth we've got the, before we go, we've got salivary glands, which we're going to talk about. These are located here. Okay, and we have got then the esophagus, which we know goes down into, we missed out teeth, sorry, teeth there. We've got the esophagus that goes down into the stomach. We've got some parts around here that play an important part. So there, the brown one is the liver. Okay, we've got liver there. And then we've got the gallbladder, which plays a part in digestion. And then behind that, going into, from the stomach into the small intestines, we've got the, duodenum there. Again, we're going to look in at more detail. Then behind there, just below the stomach, we've got the pancreas, and then we've got the duodenum going into is the first part of the small intestines there, and then you've got the large intestines coming round there, and then out to the anus, which is your bottom. Okay, so let's have a look. So yesterday we looked at matching all these up in the live Zoom lesson. So let's have a look at what those actual parts do. Let's find out a bit more about them. So at the end of the lesson, I'm going to put a sheet like this up. Okay, this will be in the class portfolio page. So you identify the part and what its function is, what it does. Okay, so we're going to, how do different parts of the digestive system work? How do they help? So how do all these parts help us digest the food? So you are going to need to make notes as we go through the slides to help you complete this worksheet at the end. Okay? So that's going to be on the class page. So let's start then. So glands then. You will come across the word glands in this lesson, so we should find out what they are. So glands are organs that release fluids to be used in the body, so liquid fluids into the body. So we've got tear glands, there's an example. So when we cry or we're chopping onions, we produce tears. We've got sweat glands, which produce sweat. Okay, so those are glands, so they release fluid into the body or out of the body. Okay, also we're going to look at the term enzymes. Now, enzymes are special molecules in the body, And molecules make up cells, which make up tissue, so your skin, your muscle, glands, which we just looked at, and organs, so like your liver and your stomach, they're all our organs. Okay, so enzymes, they're molecules that make up cells, which make up all those parts of our bodies. And enzymes, they create a chemical reaction. So in the digestive system, the reaction they produce is to break down food, because that's what we're doing, aren't we? When we digest, we are breaking down the food, we are taking out all the good things that we need from the food, and then our bodies get rid of what they don't need. So there are lots of different types of enzymes. As a type of enzyme can only do one thing. So enzymes that break down protein, which we're going to be looking at the different types of food, so enzymes that break down protein cannot also break down carbohydrates. So these are different food groups. So the enzyme has one job. So it will break down protein. And if it breaks down protein, then it won't be breaking down carbohydrates. That will be a different enzyme. They're often thought of as a lock. Only the right key will fit. So you see here, you've got some diagrams. We've got the protein enzyme there. Okay, and there's the protein that will fit together. So that will help digest protein. Protein breaking down into parts, and then you see you've got a carbohydrate there which won't fit. So that enzyme won't work. It won't break down that. So you need the right lock and the right key. The right protein and the right enzyme for it to work. Okay, right, so you might want to, as I've gone through, pause just to make a couple of notes so you can explain the function of these parts of the digestive system now. So first off, we've got the salivary glands, and their function, their job is the first part of the digestion process. Oh, we've gone too far, flick back, sorry about that. And that starts, the salivary glands start before you even start eating. So the smell of food can trigger the salivary glands to produce saliva. Some will call it your mouth watering. So when you see a food or smell a food that you really like, your mouth fills with water, saliva. Okay, and the amount of saliva increases as you taste the food. And saliva is mostly made of water, and it helps you chew, taste and swallow your food. And it also contains enzymes which start to break down the food as we eat. So salivary glands, all part of the digestion process. Like you think your favourite food, when you smell it, see it, you can feel your mouth start to fill with that saliva. Okay, so hopefully you'd have paused that and made your notes. So next is your mouth, okay, and that is your entry point for food. And the function, the job of the mouth is where the saliva can mix with the food, and also it's got your tongue and your teeth. The top part of the mouth is called your soft palate, and that helps move food along to the esophagus. So your mouth is all to do with moving that food, mixing all that food up to get it ready to go down to your esophagus. Then we have the teeth. Now the job of the teeth we're going to look at in more detail as well over the next few lessons. But your main function of the teeth is to tear, to cut and to grind the food into smaller pieces. Okay, and you can see different types of teeth have different jobs as well, which again, like I said, we'll go into in more detail over the next few lessons. So moving on then, we've got the tongue, helps mix the food and saliva, also helps you taste the food. Then we've got the esophagus, which we've looked at before, so that's the muscular tube which forms the path from the mouth to the stomach. The muscles contract, so squeeze and relax to move food down the esophagus into the stomach. Then we've got the stomach, and glands line the stomach, so we talked about the glands earlier, line the stomach, and they produce acid and enzymes which break the foods down further. And then muscles in the stomach mix all the food together. And we've also got the liver. You can see the brown there. So the liver, it produces something called bile, which helps us to absorb fats. And bile is sent to the gallbladder where it is stored. Okay, so you can't see the gallbladder on there, we can just see the liver at the moment. So that helps absorb fat. And we've got the gallbladder, which releases bile. So there's the gallbladder. So we had the liver above there, the gallbladder releases bile into the duodenum when it is needed. Okay, so I think we're going to move on to the duodenum. Oh no, pancreas. So we've got this funny looking thing here, which produces enzymes to break down fats, proteins and carbohydrates. So all those different enzymes with their particular jobs, and they are released from the pancreas into the duodenum. Then we've got the duodenum, okay, and that is the first part of the small intestine. So this is from the stomach where the liver and the gallbladder and the pancreas all add their bits to it. So first part into the small intestines is the duodenum, and this is where food is broken down by bile from the gallbladder and enzymes from the pancreas. So again, helping to digest the food. And then we've got the small intestine, so it's gone from the stomach through the duodenum into the small intestines, and you've got the jejunum and the ileum, and they absorb the nutrients from the food, so that good stuff that your body needs. And then from there, after it's taken all the good stuff out, it passes any leftover broken down food to the large intestine. So that is connected from the small, so from the small into the large, and that actually connects to your rectum, which is your bottom, okay, where you poo. And this absorbs any water from the waste food and forms stool from waste food, stool, also known as poo. Okay. And then we've got the rectum. So that's your bottom actually. So stores, stool, pass, so stores poo, pass to it from the large intestine, so all that waste gets stored here as poo, and it also, when it builds up there, it makes your brain aware of your need to go to the toilet. So that's when you feel that you need to go to the toilet, basically, and that will be all that waste. So from the start, when it went in, the whole process, going through all those different body parts and enzymes mixing with it, breaking it down, and then eventually what's left, what's not needed by the body, passes out of your rectum and you go to the toilet. Okay, and then obviously the last bit is the anus, and that's where the poo comes out. Okay, and that is the end of the digestive process there. So you've got the anus. So I'll just go. So we had the large intestine. So we've got the large intestine where the stool, poo, starts to form, which then goes into the rectum. This is where you first feel the need to go to the toilet, and then you've got the anus where it comes out as poo, and that is the end. Okay, so hopefully then you will have made your notes on the different slides, and then in your class page, if I go back, you should find a sheet that looks a bit like this, where you've got to label the body part and just a sentence explaining what that body part does. Okay, so there's not a lot of room there, so you can't write a lot, so don't expect you to have copied like whole reams, just a few notes saying what happens when the food gets to that part of your digestive system. Okay, right, so I think that's it from me, and I shall see you, well, I'll see you tomorrow now. So that'll be Thursday, and we will do the live Zoom lesson, which will be looking at the scientific evidence to answer those questions. Okay, so see you all tomorrow, year 4.